On my live stream yesterday, my friend Tina from Philly said, "Hey, you posted a lot lately." And I said, "I know. I'm not writing very much right now, which gives me some serious free time to catch up on the articles that people have been sending to me. And if you could see my desk, you'd know that my wife should not come in here, or else I will literally, she will crucify me because this place is a mess. Mess. But anyway, I did want to go over a couple on my blog post. So on heritagewealthplanning.com, that's where I put my blogs. All right. So what we'll do is I want to share with you a couple articles, an article that I just put up there the other day, how the 4% rule shortchanges retirees. So what you should do is you should go to heritagewealthplanning.com, and then if you click on over to blogs, you can see my recent post on here for sure. And you should. All right. So, and then you'll see, so here, how this 4% rule shortchanges retirees. So in case you haven't, read this, or if you're not part of my email list. So I email this to my list first, and I wait, 2 or 3 hours I post on my blog. So if you're on my email list, you already got this. If you're not on my email list, you can. When you come to Heritage Wealth Planning, you'll get a pop-up to download a free copy of my book, The Tax Bomb in Your Retirement Account. The PDF, and the whole thing's free. You get that pop-up, and you'll be automatically subscribed to my email list. And then the minute I say something that ticks you off, you can always unsubscribe. That's fine. It's funny. You can see the ebb and flow of the subscribers and the unsubscribers. Is always it cracks me up, man. Anyway, so but what's amazing is my subscribers have been growing quite a bit, and I'm humble. I just can't tell you how much I'm humbled by this. It's nuts. I get over 1,200 subscribers now. I got on my email list. I got almost 22,000 subscribers on my podcast, on my YouTube channel, and I get probably 800 or 900 downloads a day on my podcast. It's freaking crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but I'm a voracious. Some guy just said what it was, a voracious producer of content, because I got a lot of stuff in this empty noggin of mine. Woo, hear the echo. Woo, woo. So let's read this. How the 4% rule shortchanges retirees. And I got this from something. Let me pause. I'll show you. 4% rule shortchanges retirees. And if you want to take care of your old buddy Josh, you click on this right here, the 9.6% annuity return. Look, you can read it. I've already did a video on this right here, but you can read it. But if you click on it, your old buddy Josh gets paid. I know your whole point of life is to pay me. So click on that. I kind of chuckled at that. But anyway, so we're going to get these from the Big Pick app.co. I'll share with you here in just a second these images I got, but I want to go over this first and foremost, my blog post on it, and then we'll go to the bigpickapp.co, which I think you'll like a lot. I do, and I'm going to use a lot of this for my next coming book, Retire on the Wellington Fund. As you can see here, I got tons and tons. We got reverse mortgage example. We got reverse mortgage. We got since 1960. We got tons of different spreadsheets, S&P 500, just tons and tons of stuff. All right, so let's go to this first. All right, this is not a hit on Bill Bangin. Just want to be clear there, because if you go to Big Picture app, he says Bill Bangin is a big fan of the Big Picture app for retirement planning. And I'm not trying to hit on Bill Bangin. And Bill Bangin is the namesake of, not the namesake, I guess I don't know what you call it. He's the guy who's come up with a 4% rule. And I say the man did wonderful things to advance financial planning. So I just got to be upfront on that. Just like I was upfront with my man Jim out of West Virginia. I don't like strip mining. I am not a greenie to the scent of that, what these hypocrites are, but I don't like strip mining. But I do like electricity, and I certainly like cheap energy, and I like nuclear, I like oil, and I like natural gas, and I like coal because it's the cheapest source that we have. So I want to be clear, just because I challenge the orthodoxy doesn't mean I challenge the guys who brought out these ideas in terms of Bill Bangin and the 4% rule, strip mining. No, don't like it. Anyway, but the problem I've always had with the 4% rule is this right here. Look at this image. Here is the 4% rule. It turns out this is the x-axis. I thought this was the x-axis. It shows how long since I've been in school. Anyway, the x-axis is going up here, 04812. Here's the 4% rule going back to 1926. And what you see that line? Just a couple times in 1929-32 did drop below the 4%. 66, remember we talked about that, 66 to essentially 73, it dropped below that. So this is a rolling 30-year period, not just 30 years, but rolling 30-year period. So January 1930 to December 1959, February 1930 to whatever that is, January 19 60, if that makes sense. So that's a rolling, and all the rolling times, look at that. Only a couple times did it fall below 4%. The median was 5.8. The median was 5.8. And this is a 60-40 portfolio. Yeah, 60-40 portfolio. Going back using 10-year Treasury bonds and U.S. large cap stocks, S&P 500. So all this time, you're taking 4% a year out just to avoid that and avoid that. But you're also avoiding all this. So the retiree's taking 4% a year adjusted for inflation. And this is the x-axis right here. And this is the y. Yeah, I guess I read it. I did say that right. Okay, cool, right? So anyway, look at that. Or maybe that's the y. I can't. Anyway, look at this axis. So what you'll see here is, notice on the rarest of occasions, the portfolio sink underneath the waterline. So the median was 5.8. The median means 50% of the time you could have taken it more than 5.8. So while taking 4% a year surely reduced the likelihood of running out of money. Now, it didn't 100% reduce it, but it surely did reduce the likelihood of it. It also reduced your ability to live large as possible in retirement. The ability to enjoy all this up here. You didn't do it because you were taking only 4% a year. And now what I say is, let's get serious here. No one knew in the likelihood of one run out of money in 1931, 1930, 1961, or 1966. But no one knew they could live like King Solomon in 1932, 1949, 1982, and etc. You just didn't know. So when you're sitting there in 1931, you didn't know, oh, this is the year I run out of money. This is the 30-year rolling period I run out of money, so I better back up. And in 1982, you did not know, well, this is the retirement year I live like a freaking King Solomon, so I better spend more. No one knew that. So I say, if you're retired today, will you be decorated in gold, or will you be wearing a barrel for clothing in 30 years? You have no idea. And that's the problem with the whole thing. The 4% rule, or any rule derived on the past to project future returns, is nothing more than a guessing game. It's a literal guessing game. It's literal luck. Nothing more than that. So I was talking to some folks last night who want to go they want to go to Ireland and whatnot. Their Monte Carlo shows only a 95% chance of success, which means 5 times out of 100, they will outlive their money. I'm like, go! For heaven's sake, go! Go to freaking Ireland, enjoy it, because you don't know, hey, if you're going to not only outlive, if your money outlives you, but you don't know if you're going to die tomorrow, so go! And here's what I say. The vast majority of the time you could have spent well above 4% to stay home watching Pat Sajak on TV while eating ramen noodles just in case a calamity happens. Crazy talk. And here we look at this. Retirement starting in 1926. Historical portfolio longevity. Number of years portfolio lasted by retirement start date. So in 1926, it lasted over 40. In 1929, it was at 24. In 1961, it lasted 28. In 1966, it lasted 25. Solid blue across the board for over 40. 1944, it lasted over 40. You got a couple Grand Canyons here. That's it. That's it. And even though when you ran out of money, it still lasted well beyond 20 years. So here's 27 years right there. That's 25 years. Here's that's about 20 years right there. Not one time did it last less than 20 years. Not one time. And remember, we're assuming you're taking 4% a year, adjusting with inflation each and every year thereafter. And if you've been following my YouTube channel, you know what really happens, though. Your spending goes down. All right, so now if you're living like a pauper so your kids live like kings as a priority, well, the 4% rule works great. Here is the historical legacy capital. So you're taking 4% a year off. You're adjusting for inflation. You started in 1982. You left almost $4 million. $4 million. I think what we start with $250,000. I can't remember, but I think it was $250,000. The percentage, it doesn't matter. But in this case, how much you actually have left, I think we start with $250,000. Anyway, either way, you're leaving $2.4 million here, $2 million there, $1.2 million there, $2.4 million there, $3 million, $3.6 million. That's nice of you to leave that kind of money, but I don't have anyone who sits there and says, I want to fly coach next to the bathroom so that way my kid can have $4 million. That's not what you're trying to accomplish. It's nice of you, but let's not do that. Let's spend the money a little bit. And this is why the 4% rule shortchanges people, because of that right there. There's a 4% rule, and there's all the upside. And here's what you're leaving to your heirs. So you're leaving huge amounts of money to your heirs because you only spent down here. And don't do that, man. So we don't want that. So let's go to Big Pick app. So this is Big Pick app, and I'm going to put my email in there, and I'm already got the free trial. So you get the free trial, and you should use this. I love it. I think this thing is fantastic. So bigpickapp.co. I guess co means, I don't know, Canada. So I got $1 million in here. It was $250,000. So I'm saying $250,000. We got a 4% withdrawal rate, which means we're taking 833 a month out. We're going to have a diversified portfolio, but we can change this any way we want. So we can do, I got total market 45%, international 15%, 5-year government bonds, T-bills, and global bonds. I mean, you can do anything here. I got growth. You can do all kinds of different things. So we'll do mixed growth here. And we'll do like that. We'll come back here. We're going to adjust our spending for inflation. We're not going to leave any legacy. And what happens is we have an 82% chance of not running out of money. But not only do we have an 82% chance of not running out of money, here comes the other. If we had an income portfolio, we did the same thing, which is heavy towards the bonds. We would have only had a 39.7% chance of not running out of money. If we had a max growth, which is all stocks, we would have had a 98.3% chance of not running out of money. So a diversified portfolio gave us an 82.6% chance of not running out of money, assuming we're taking 4% a year off and adjusting for inflation each and every year. Well, if we live for 40 years, what does it look like there? Let's take a gander. It dropped significantly at 45.7. Well, because we have an extra 33 years we got to provide income. So as you can see, here's max growth. And we're going to have a 98.3. You can see that. So we'll go back to what we had. I think we had diversified, right? Yeah, diversified 2.6. All right. So now watch this, my friends, my feckle friends. That's with a 1.5% expense ratio. Interesting, huh? So what if we only made it a half expense ratio? What does it look like there? 99.1. 99.1, my friends. So that 1% extra you're paying costs you big bucks. And I will do another video on that specifically. And here, you're doing fine, you're doing fine till you're 28 and not doing so fine. And there's year 30, that's your 99.3%. And then in year 40, you're down to 78%. So the expenses are huge. Let's go here. Again, your median was 5.5. You're only taking 4% a year off, and you ran out of money one time there and one time there. Don't take the 4%. All right, so here we go back to how many times. Look at that. That's 27. So your portfolio lasted greater than 40 years, significant amount of time. Right here, it lasted 34 years. Right there, it lasted 28 years. Right there, it lasted 28 years, 28. So your portfolio lasted more than 27 every single time in that regard. All right, historical legacy. Again, we talked about that just a second ago. And finally, we got this right here. Initial capital required to sustain what we did here. So if you retired in 29, you would need 200, right there. You would need 215,000. 259,000 if you retired in September 1929 instead of 250. Let's go here. You would have needed 258, 260, 258. So right there. January 1st, 1937, you would have needed 258,000 to sustain that level of income. If you retired in 1982, let's take a gander, and you want to sustain that level of income, you would have needed, right there, we'll say right there, $107,000 as opposed to $250,000. So you get how that works. So I'm a big fan. You get this for, like I said, for free for 10 days. You should buy it. Absolutely. Well, buy it. It's free. After that, I think it's $40 a month. I'm going to use it because I like it a lot. I like the fact you can change the portfolio to whatever you want. So I have my version of the Wellington here. I like the fact you can change your fee structure. You can rebalance every 5 years. All kind is good. I don't know if I was an average consumer, if I'd pay $40 a month for it. I'm not sure I'd do that. But for me, I'm going to be using this a lot because it'll help me with my books for sure. So anyway, hope you find this of interest. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.